In today's fast-paced and ever-changing world, where distractions are omnipresent and instant gratification is the norm, our relationship with food has become increasingly complex. Food is no longer merely a source of sustenance. It has evolved into a symbol of comfort, a tool for social connection, and a means of coping with the stresses of modern life. However, in this whirlwind of convenience and temptation, we often lose sight of the true purpose of eating. The ancient wisdom of Stoicism offers us a path to reclaim a mindful approach to eating, one that not only nourishes the body but also nurtures the mind and spirit. But how can we integrate this ancient philosophy into our modern lives, where the challenges are abundant and the stakes are high? Let's begin by reflecting on the very essence of food in our lives. In its purest form, food serves as the fundamental fuel that sustains our bodies, providing the essential nutrients required for us to not only survive but to thrive. However, in the complexity of contemporary society, food has evolved far beyond this basic necessity. It has become intertwined with our emotions, our social interactions, and our personal experiences. We often find ourselves reaching for food not merely to satisfy physical hunger, but to soothe our emotions, whether it's stress, sadness, or boredom. Food becomes a source of comfort, a way to fill emotional voids, and an easy distraction from the challenges we face. Moreover, food plays a central role in our cultural and social lives. We gather around food to celebrate milestones, to mark holidays, and to bond with family and friends. These rituals are deeply ingrained in our traditions and memories, making food a symbol of connection and joy. Yet, this multifaceted relationship with food can sometimes lead to a disconnection from its original purpose. The act of eating can become automatic, driven by habit or social pressure, rather than by conscious choice. We might eat because it's time for a meal, because everyone else is eating, or simply because food is available, regardless of whether we're truly hungry or mindful of what we're consuming. This shift from eating to nourish our bodies to eating as a response to emotional and social cues can lead to mindless eating. In these moments, we consume without conscious thought, allowing external influences and fleeting desires to dictate our food choices. Advertisements, societal norms, and even the pace of modern life can push us towards unhealthy or excessive eating patterns. The convenience of fast food, the allure of sugary snacks, and the abundance of choices can overwhelm our natural instincts, leading us to eat in ways that do not align with our true needs or values. The Stoic approach to mindful eating invites us to pause and reconsider the deeper reasons behind our food choices. It encourages us to step back from the automatic behaviors and external pressures that often dictate our eating habits and instead bring a sense of awareness, purpose, and intention to the act of eating. By practicing mindfulness, we can reconnect with the true essence of food, understanding it as a source of nourishment, a gift from nature, and a vital part of our well-being. This mindful approach helps us to make more deliberate and thoughtful choices, aligning our eating habits with our health goals, ethical values, and personal beliefs. Furthermore, the Stoic philosophy teaches us to approach food with gratitude and respect, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life and the effort that goes into producing the food we eat. This awareness can transform our relationship with food, turning it into a mindful practice that nourishes not only our bodies, but also our minds and spirits. By embracing this mindful and stoic approach to eating, we can cultivate a healthier, more balanced relationship with food. One that honors our physical needs, respects our emotional well-being, and fosters a deeper sense of connection to the world around us. Mindful eating, as guided by Stoic principles, transcends the conventional notion of dieting or adhering to rigid restrictions. It is not about counting calories, depriving ourselves, or following the latest food trends. Instead, it invites us to be fully immersed in the present moment, to become aware of the entire experience of eating, and to engage all our senses in the process. When we eat mindfully, we pay close attention to the colors, textures, flavors, and aromas of our food. We slow down, allowing ourselves to truly savor each bite, and in doing so, we cultivate a deep sense of gratitude for the nourishment our food provides. This gratitude extends beyond the food itself to the hands that prepared it, the farmers who grew it, and the natural processes that brought it from the earth to our plates. Mindful eating encourages us to recognize the interconnectedness of all things, to see our meals as the culmination of many efforts, and to appreciate the resources and energy that went into creating our food. It prompts us to reflect on the impact of our food choices on our health, the environment, and the world around us. This practice is closely tied to the Stoic principle of mindfulness, which emphasizes the importance of observing our thoughts, emotions, and actions without judgment. By practicing mindful eating, we develop the ability to notice our hunger cues, our cravings, and the emotions that may drive us to eat, all while maintaining a sense of detachment and clarity. This awareness allows us to make conscious choices about what we eat, how much we eat, and why we eat, rather than being driven by impulse or habit. Moreover, mindful eating becomes a form of meditation, a way to cultivate inner peace and stillness amidst the busyness of our daily lives. In a world where we are constantly bombarded with distractions, the simple act of eating with intention and awareness can be a moment of tranquility, a chance to reconnect with ourselves and the present moment. Through this practice, we can transform eating from a mundane task into a meaningful ritual, one that nourishes not only our bodies but also our minds and spirits. This mindful approach to eating helps us navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom and clarity, reinforcing the Stoic belief that true happiness and contentment come from within, not from external circumstances. The Stoics believed in living in harmony with nature, a principle that permeates all aspects of life, including our relationship with food. This philosophy encourages us to view food not merely as a means to sustain our physical bodies, but as a sacred gift from the natural world, deserving of our respect and mindfulness. When we eat mindfully, we honor the intricate web of life that sustains us, becoming more attuned to the rhythms of nature and the changing seasons. This approach naturally leads us to choose foods that are fresh, local, and in season, aligning our eating habits with the cycles of the earth. By doing so, we support not only our physical health but also the health of our environment, reducing our reliance on processed, out-of-season, or imported foods that require extensive resources to produce and transport. This mindful eating practice fosters a deeper, more intimate connection with the earth and its natural cycles. As we become more aware of where our food comes from, we start to appreciate the beauty and variety that each season offers. In the spring, we might savor the tender greens and early fruits that symbolize renewal and growth. Summer brings an abundance of vibrant vegetables and fruits, rich with color and flavor, reflecting the peak of the growing season. Autumn introduces heartier, grounding foods like root vegetables and grains, helping us prepare for the colder months ahead. Even in winter, we can find nourishment in the preserved and stored foods that sustain us until the earth awakens again. This cyclical approach to eating not only nurtures our bodies, but also connects us to the broader tapestry of life, reminding us of our place within the natural world. By embracing this mindful approach to eating, we express our gratitude for the abundance of nature and the labor of those who cultivate and harvest our food. Each meal becomes an opportunity to acknowledge the countless hands that have contributed to bringing food to our table, from the farmers who grow the crops, to the workers who harvest and transport them, to the chefs and home cooks who prepare them with care. This awareness cultivates a sense of reverence and appreciation for the simple, yet profound, act of eating. It encourages us to slow down, to savor each bite, and to be fully present in the moment, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life. Moreover, this approach to eating reinforces the Stoic principle of living in accordance with nature, which is central to their philosophy. By choosing foods that are in harmony with the Earth's natural cycles, we reduce our impact on the environment and promote a more sustainable way of living. This mindful, Stoic approach to food also extends beyond what we eat to how we eat. It encourages us to consume only what we need, avoiding overindulgence and waste, and to share the bounty of the earth with others, fostering a spirit of generosity and community. In this way, mindful eating becomes not just a personal practice, but a way of contributing to the greater good, supporting a healthier planet and a more compassionate society. In doing so, we transform the act of eating from a mundane routine into a meaningful ritual that nourishes not only our bodies, but also our minds and spirits. This deeper connection to our food and its origins can bring a sense of peace and fulfillment as we align our daily habits with our values and the natural world. It allows us to live more intentionally, appreciating the gifts of nature and the hard work of those who make our meals possible. Through mindful eating, we can cultivate a lifestyle that embodies the Stoic ideals of simplicity, gratitude, and harmony with nature, enriching our lives and the world around us. Incorporating Stoic wisdom into our eating habits involves more than just mindful consumption. It also requires cultivating the virtue of temperance, a cornerstone of Stoic philosophy. Temperance, in the context of eating, is the art of finding balance in our food choices, steering clear of excess, and making decisions that nourish both our bodies and our minds. This practice is about more than just moderation. It's about being deeply in tune with our needs and understanding the difference between genuine hunger and mere cravings. By recognizing this distinction, we learn to make choices that support our long-term well-being, rather than succumbing to the fleeting satisfaction of short-term pleasures. The virtue of temperance teaches us to appreciate the importance of balance in our diet. This means not only moderating our intake of rich, sugary, or overly processed foods, but also ensuring that we are consuming a variety of nutrients that support overall health. It encourages us to develop a relationship with food that is both nourishing and sustainable, avoiding the extremes of both overindulgence and unnecessary restriction. In practicing temperance, we become more mindful of portion sizes, the frequency of our meals, and the quality of the food we choose to consume. This approach promotes a steady, consistent energy throughout the day, helping us to avoid the highs and lows that often accompany poor dietary choices. However, temperance in eating is not about imposing strict rules or depriving ourselves of enjoyment. Instead, it's about making thoughtful, intentional decisions that reflect our true needs and align with our broader life goals and values. For instance, when faced with the temptation to overindulge in a decadent dessert, temperance invites us to pause and consider how this choice fits into the larger picture of our health and well-being. It's a practice of self-awareness that helps us to resist mindless snacking or emotional eating, which often lead to feelings of guilt or regret. By embracing temperance, we develop a more harmonious relationship with food, one that is based on respect for our bodies and a deep understanding of what truly nourishes us. Practicing temperance also cultivates self-discipline, a critical skill that extends far beyond our eating habits. When we consistently make mindful decisions about what and how much we eat, we strengthen our ability to apply this discipline in other areas of our lives. This might manifest as increased focus and productivity at work, better management of our time and resources, or even a more balanced approach to relationships and personal goals. The discipline we develop through temperance in eating can serve as a foundation for greater self-control and intentionality in all aspects of our lives, leading to a more fulfilling and purposeful existence. Moreover, the practice of temperance encourages us to appreciate the simple pleasures of eating without becoming overly attached to them. It reminds us that while food can be a source of comfort and joy, it should not be relied upon as a primary means of coping with stress, boredom, or emotional turmoil. Instead, by practicing temperance, we learn to find satisfaction in the quality of our food rather than the quantity, savoring each bite and deriving joy from the nourishment it provides. This balanced approach helps us to avoid the pitfalls of overindulgence, such as weight gain, health issues, or the emotional roller coaster that often accompanies erratic eating patterns. By embracing temperance, we also contribute to a more sustainable and ethical way of living. When we consume only what we need and avoid wasteful or excessive eating, we reduce our impact on the environment and make more conscious choices about the sources of our food. This mindful consumption aligns with Stoic principles of living in harmony with nature and making choices that reflect our values of simplicity and sustainability. In this way, temperance in eating becomes a powerful tool for personal growth and ethical living, allowing us to lead lives that are not only healthier and more balanced, but also more aligned with the principles of Stoicism. Through the practice of temperance, we learn to appreciate the deeper significance of our choices, cultivating a life of wisdom, self-discipline, and mindful awareness. However, mindful eating extends far beyond the physical act of consuming food. It delves deeply into the mental and emotional dimensions of our relationship with what we eat. Our emotions are intricately tied to our eating habits, often dictating when, what, and how much we consume. Many of us turn to food as a source of comfort, using it to soothe feelings of stress, anxiety, loneliness, or even boredom. This emotional eating can lead to a cycle of mindless consumption, where we eat not out of hunger, but as a way to escape or cope with uncomfortable emotions. The wisdom of Stoicism invites us to examine these impulses with a critical eye, encouraging us to understand the deeper emotional forces that drive our behaviors around food. Stoicism teaches us to cultivate a heightened awareness of our thoughts and feelings, allowing us to observe them without immediately reacting. In the context of eating, this means recognizing when we are reaching for food out of emotional need rather than physical hunger. By bringing this level of mindfulness to our eating habits, we can begin to identify the specific triggers that lead us to eat mindlessly. These triggers could be external, such as stress at work, or internal, like feelings of sadness or frustration. Once we become aware of these patterns, we can start to unravel the automatic responses that have developed over time, replacing them with more intentional and healthier coping mechanisms. Moreover, mindful eating, informed by Stoic principles, encourages us to question the stories we tell ourselves about food and our emotions. Often, we might believe that a certain type of food will make us feel better, or that eating is a way to reward ourselves after a difficult day. These beliefs, while comforting in the short term, can reinforce unhealthy patterns of behavior that do not serve our long-term well-being. By practicing mindfulness, we can challenge these narratives and begin to see food not as an emotional crutch, but as a source of nourishment and energy. This shift in perspective allows us to approach eating with a sense of purpose and clarity, rather than as a reaction to emotional turmoil. In addition, Stoicism emphasizes the importance of self-control and the mastery of our desires. When applied to eating, this principle encourages us to exercise restraint, not out of deprivation, but as a means of aligning our actions with our values. Mindful eating requires us to pause and reflect before we act, giving us the space to make choices that are in harmony with our goals for health and well-being. For instance, if we notice a craving for a certain comfort food arising in response to stress, we can use this moment of awareness to explore alternative ways of addressing the underlying emotion. This might involve engaging in a relaxing activity, practicing deep breathing, or even taking a walk to clear our mind. By developing these alternative strategies, we empower ourselves to break free from the cycle of emotional eating and to cultivate a more balanced and thoughtful approach to food. Furthermore, mindful eating is about cultivating a compassionate relationship with ourselves. Stoicism teaches us to accept our emotions without judgment, recognizing that they are a natural part of the human experience. When we apply this understanding to our eating habits, we can approach moments of emotional eating with curiosity rather than criticism. Instead of berating ourselves for indulging in a treat or for eating out of stress, we can use these experiences as opportunities for learning and growth. By being kind and patient with ourselves, we create a supportive environment in which we can gradually shift our habits and make more mindful choices in the future. Ultimately, the practice of mindful eating, grounded in Stoic philosophy, helps us to develop a deeper understanding of our relationship with food and our emotions. It encourages us to approach eating with a sense of intentionality, awareness, and self-compassion, allowing us to make choices that reflect our true needs and values. By bringing Stoic wisdom into our daily meals, we can transform the act of eating into a practice of mindfulness, self-discovery, and personal growth. In this way, mindful eating becomes not just a tool for physical nourishment, but a pathway to greater emotional resilience, mental clarity, and overall well-being. One of the most powerful tools in this transformative process is the practice of self-reflection, a foundational element of Stoic philosophy that serves as a guide for personal growth and self-awareness. Self-reflection is not a one-time activity, but a continual practice of regularly observing our thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, and critically assessing how they align with our core values and long-term goals. This introspective practice is crucial in the context of mindful eating, as it provides us with the necessary insight to understand our eating patterns and the motivations behind them. It enables us to pause and consider our actions, helping us make conscious decisions that support not only our physical well-being, but also our mental and emotional health. In the realm of mindful eating, self-reflection begins with asking ourselves probing and honest questions. For example, am I eating because I am genuinely hungry, or am I reaching for food as a response to stress, anxiety, or boredom? This question alone can uncover a wealth of information about our relationship with food and how it is influenced by our emotional state. By identifying whether our hunger is physical or emotional, we can start to make more informed choices about when and what we eat, thus breaking the cycle of mindless eating driven by temporary feelings. Another vital question to consider is, does this food truly nourish my body and contribute to my overall health and well-being? This question encourages us to think beyond immediate gratification and consider the long-term impact of our food choices. It prompts us to choose foods that are not only satisfying but also packed with nutrients that fuel our bodies, support our immune systems, and enhance our overall vitality. By prioritizing nourishment over indulgence, we align our eating habits with our broader goals for health and longevity, which is a key aspect of Stoic temperance. The practice of self-reflection also invites us to evaluate the manner in which we eat. We might ask ourselves, am I eating mindfully, fully present in the experience of each bite? Or am I distracted by other activities such as watching television, scrolling through my phone, or working at my desk? This question helps us become aware of how often we eat on autopilot, without truly tasting or appreciating our food. When we recognize that we are eating distractedly, we can make a conscious effort to shift our focus back to the meal itself, savoring the flavors, textures, and aromas with full attention. This mindful approach not only enhances our enjoyment of food, but also helps us tune in to our body's signals of fullness and satisfaction, reducing the likelihood of overeating. Moreover, self-reflection in mindful eating involves considering the broader context of our eating habits. We can reflect on how our environment, social interactions, and daily routines influence our food choices. For instance, we might notice that we tend to overeat when dining out with friends, or that we gravitate toward unhealthy snacks during stressful periods at work. By identifying these patterns, we can begin to make adjustments that support healthier eating habits. This might involve planning meals and snacks ahead of time, choosing more nutritious options when eating out, or finding alternative ways to cope with stress that don't involve food. The process of self-reflection also encourages us to be compassionate with ourselves as we explore our relationship with food. It's important to recognize that changing long-established habits takes time, and that setbacks are a natural part of the journey. Rather than criticizing ourselves for moments of indulgence or emotional eating, we can use these experiences as opportunities to learn and grow. By reflecting on what triggered a particular eating episode, we can develop strategies to manage similar situations in the future, gradually building a more mindful and balanced approach to eating. Furthermore, self-reflection helps us to align our eating habits with our broader values and life goals. For instance, if we value sustainability and environmental stewardship, we might reflect on how our food choices impact the planet and seek out more eco-friendly options, such as locally sourced, organic, or plant-based foods. If we prioritize physical health and fitness, we might reflect on how our diet supports or hinders our ability to achieve these goals and make adjustments accordingly. By aligning our eating habits with our values, we create a sense of coherence and purpose in our lives, which is a key component of Stoic wisdom. Ultimately, the practice of self-reflection and mindful eating is about cultivating a deeper understanding of ourselves and our relationship with food. It empowers us to make choices that are not only mindful and intentional, but also aligned with our values and long-term well-being. Through this ongoing process of introspection, we can transform our eating habits from a source of mindless indulgence to a practice of mindful nourishment, enhancing our overall health and quality of life. But mindful eating is not just about the content of our meals. It's equally about the process and manner in which we consume them. In the whirlwind of our modern lives, it's all too common for meals to be rushed, eaten on the go, or consumed in front of a screen. This habitual, mindless approach to eating creates a significant disconnect from the actual experience of our food and our own bodily cues. We often find ourselves eating mechanically, without truly engaging with the meal in front of us, which can diminish the pleasure and satisfaction that food can offer. The constant multitasking, whether it's checking emails, scrolling through social media, or watching TV, further pulls us away from the present moment, turning eating into a secondary, almost subconscious activity rather than a deliberate and enjoyable experience. Stoicism teaches us the value of being fully present in every action we undertake, and this principle extends profoundly to our approach to eating. According to Stoic philosophy, true mindfulness involves immersing ourselves in the present moment and being attentive to our sensory experiences. By intentionally setting aside dedicated time for meals, free from the distractions of screens, conversations, or work, we honor the act of eating as a significant and enjoyable part of our day. This deliberate focus allows us to engage more deeply with the sensory details of our food, the textures, flavors, and aromas, transforming a simple meal into a rich, sensory experience. When we eat with full attention, we can appreciate the nuances of each bite, savoring the intricate blend of tastes and sensations that might otherwise go unnoticed. This practice of present moment awareness not only enhances our enjoyment of food, but also contributes to better self-regulation of our eating habits. When we eat mindfully, we become more attuned to our body's hunger and satiety signals. By paying close attention to the physical sensations of fullness and satisfaction, we can more accurately gauge when we have had enough, reducing the risk of overeating. This heightened awareness helps us to stop eating when we are comfortably full rather than continuing to eat out of habit or distraction. The result is a more balanced approach to eating that fosters a sense of contentment and prevents the discomfort associated with overindulgence. Furthermore, by making mealtimes a dedicated, undistracted part of our day, we create an opportunity to cultivate gratitude for our food. When we eat without distractions, we can more fully appreciate the effort that went into preparing the meal, the nourishment it provides, and the pleasure it brings. This sense of gratitude aligns with Stoic teachings on appreciating life's simple pleasures and acknowledging the abundance that sustains us. It also promotes a more mindful relationship with food, encouraging us to choose and prepare meals that reflect our values and contribute to our overall well-being. Incorporating this mindful approach to eating into our daily routines can also have broader benefits for our overall quality of life. It helps to establish a routine of self-care and intentional living, where we prioritize our physical and mental well-being by creating space for mindfulness and reflection. This practice of eating with awareness can become a form of self-nurturing, where each meal is an opportunity to pause, engage with our senses, and recharge. By integrating mindful eating into our lives, we cultivate a greater sense of harmony and balance, contributing to a more fulfilling and purposeful lifestyle. Moreover, this approach to eating extends beyond individual meals to influence our overall eating patterns and choices. When we develop the habit of mindful eating, we are more likely to apply this mindfulness to our food selection and preparation. We might find ourselves more inclined to choose wholesome, nutritious foods that nourish our bodies and align with our values, rather than opting for convenience or comfort foods that offer short-term satisfaction but may not contribute to our long-term health goals. This shift in perspective can lead to more thoughtful, intentional food choices that support our overall well-being and enhance our quality of life. In essence, mindful eating is about transforming the act of eating from a routine activity into a meaningful practice. It involves creating a space where we can fully engage with the sensory experience of our food, fostering a deeper appreciation for each meal, and promoting healthier eating habits. By embracing this mindful approach, we align ourselves with Stoic principles of presence, gratitude, and self-discipline, enhancing not only our enjoyment of food, but also our overall sense of well-being and fulfillment. In this way, mindful eating becomes a practice of self-care, a way of nurturing both our bodies and our minds. It's about making choices that support our overall well-being, rather than succumbing to the temptations of instant gratification. This approach is particularly important in a world where unhealthy food options are often more accessible and more affordable than nutritious ones. By prioritizing mindful eating, we take control of our health and make decisions that align with our long-term goals and values. Furthermore, the practice of mindful eating can have a profound impact on our mental and emotional well-being. In today's society, where stress, anxiety, and mental health challenges are increasingly prevalent, our relationship with food often becomes a reflection of our emotional state. Mindless eating can lead to feelings of guilt, shame, and a sense of being out of control, further exacerbating our stress and anxiety. On the other hand, mindful eating empowers us to make choices that reflect our true needs and desires, rather than being driven by external pressures or emotional turmoil. This sense of empowerment and agency can lead to a greater sense of peace, well-being, and self-compassion, helping to reduce stress and improve our mental health. As we deepen our practice of mindful eating, we begin to see food not just as fuel, but as a source of connection to ourselves, to others, and to the world around us. Sharing a meal with others becomes an opportunity for connection, community, and mutual nourishment, a way to nurture our relationships and create meaningful experiences. In this way, mindful eating extends beyond the individual to encompass the broader tapestry of life, where food becomes a means of fostering connection, belonging, and shared joy. But the journey of mindful eating is not without its significant challenges. In an age where instant gratification, convenience, and excess are not just encouraged but almost normalized, the pursuit of mindful and intentional eating choices can indeed be daunting. Our culture often bombards us with messages that prioritize speed and pleasure over thoughtfulness and health. Fast food, prepackaged snacks, and endless dining options designed for quick consumption can make it difficult to slow down and truly engage with our eating habits. The convenience of grabbing a meal on the go or eating while distracted by technology stands in stark contrast to the slower, more deliberate approach that mindful eating demands. This disparity can make it hard to maintain a consistent practice of mindfulness in our eating routines. Moreover, embracing mindful eating often requires a fundamental shift in how we approach food and our relationship with it. It involves cultivating a heightened awareness of our eating habits, which can sometimes be uncomfortable or challenging. We may need to confront long-standing habits and beliefs about food that have become deeply ingrained. For instance, many of us have developed emotional eating patterns where we turn to food as a comfort or distraction from stress or boredom. Recognizing and addressing these patterns can be difficult, as it often involves examining the emotional triggers that drive our eating behavior. It's about asking ourselves tough questions, such as why we eat the way we do and what underlying emotions or beliefs influence our food choices. In addition, making mindful choices often means resisting the allure of short-term pleasure, which can be a struggle in a society that glorifies indulgence and excess. It can be tempting to choose convenience over health, especially when faced with a busy schedule or stressful circumstances. Yet, mindful eating calls for a deeper commitment to our long-term well-being, urging us to prioritize our health and values over immediate gratification. This commitment requires a level of discipline and patience, as it often means delaying immediate pleasures for the sake of more enduring benefits. It's about finding the balance between enjoying food and making choices that align with our overall health goals and values. However, by embracing the principles of Stoicism, we can navigate these challenges with a greater sense of resilience and purpose. Stoic philosophy teaches us the value of patience, self-discipline, and the importance of focusing on what is within our control. When applied to mindful eating, these principles help us approach our food choices with a calm and measured perspective. Stoicism encourages us to accept the difficulties and discomforts that come with making changes in our habits, viewing them as opportunities for growth rather than obstacles. It emphasizes the importance of maintaining a commitment to our values and goals, even when faced with temptation or difficulty. Furthermore, Stoicism supports a mindset of lifelong learning and personal development, which can be incredibly beneficial as we work towards more mindful eating habits. By viewing this journey as a continuous process of growth and self-improvement, we can embrace the challenges and setbacks as part of our broader path towards well-being. Each step we take towards greater mindfulness and intentionality in our eating habits is a valuable part of our journey, contributing to our overall growth and understanding. This perspective helps us stay motivated and focused, even when progress feels slow or when we encounter obstacles along the way. In summary, while the journey towards mindful eating presents various challenges, it also offers profound opportunities for personal growth and development. By recognizing and addressing the difficulties inherent in this process, such as confronting ingrained habits, resisting immediate gratification, and making intentional choices, we can cultivate a more mindful and fulfilling relationship with food. Embracing the Stoic principles of patience, resilience, and lifelong learning allows us to navigate these challenges with grace and determination, ultimately leading to a more balanced and purposeful approach to eating. The practice of mindful eating transcends mere dietary habits. It serves as a profound avenue for spiritual growth and self-discovery. By engaging in mindful eating, we embark on a journey of deepening our connection not only with ourselves but also with the people around us and the environment that sustains us. This practice encourages us to become more attuned to the subtle yet significant ways our food choices impact our overall well-being, our communities, and the planet. It invites us to reflect on how each meal we consume is intricately linked to broader ecological and social systems. As we bring mindfulness to our eating habits, we start to recognize the interconnectedness of our actions. We become more conscious of how the food we choose affects not just our physical health, but also the health of our communities and the environment. For instance, opting for locally sourced and seasonal foods can support local farmers and reduce our carbon footprint, fostering a more sustainable food system. By paying attention to where our food comes from and how it is produced, we contribute to a more ethical and environmentally friendly approach to eating. This awareness prompts us to consider the broader implications of our choices and inspires us to act in ways that align with our values of sustainability, respect, and compassion. Moreover, mindful eating fosters a sense of gratitude and respect for the resources and labor that go into producing our food. It encourages us to appreciate the effort of those who cultivate and harvest our meals, acknowledging the complex processes that bring food from farm to table. This appreciation deepens our connection to the natural world and the people who are part of our food system, fostering a greater sense of community and shared responsibility. In this way, mindful eating becomes a pathway to spiritual awakening, a practice that aligns with our deepest values and aspirations. It invites us to live more consciously and authentically, making choices that reflect our commitment to personal growth, ethical living, and environmental stewardship. By integrating mindfulness into our eating habits, we not only enhance our own well-being, but also contribute to a more harmonious and sustainable world. This approach transforms eating from a routine activity into a meaningful practice of spiritual and ethical engagement. Each meal becomes an opportunity to reflect on our values, to connect with the broader web of life, and to make choices that support our own health and the well-being of others. By approaching food with mindfulness and intention, we align ourselves with the rhythms of nature and the principles of ethical living, creating a more balanced and harmonious relationship with the world around us. Ultimately, mindful eating is more than just a way of nourishing our bodies. It is a profound expression of our commitment to living in harmony with ourselves, each other, and the planet. It embodies the essence of spiritual growth and awakening, guiding us towards a more conscious, connected, and compassionate way of living. Through this practice, we find not only a deeper appreciation for the food we eat, but also a greater sense of purpose and alignment with the natural world and our shared human experience. As we continue to practice mindful eating, we may find that our relationship with food begins to change in profound and meaningful ways. Food becomes not just a source of physical nourishment, but also a source of joy, connection, and spiritual fulfillment. We begin to see the act of eating as a sacred ritual, a moment of gratitude and reflection, where we honor the food that sustains us and the natural world that provides for us. This shift in perspective can have a ripple effect on other areas of our lives, as we become more mindful, intentional, and present in all that we do. In conclusion, the Stoic approach to mindful eating offers us a powerful tool for navigating the complexities of modern life. By bringing awareness, intention, and mindfulness to our eating habits, we can cultivate a deeper connection with ourselves, with others, and with the world around us. We can make choices that support our long-term well-being, rather than succumbing to the temptations of instant gratification. And we can transform the act of eating into a form of meditation, a moment of tranquility amidst the chaos of our daily lives. In this way, mindful eating becomes not just a practice, but a way of life. One that nurtures our bodies, minds, and spirits and helps us live in alignment with the principles of Stoicism and the values that matter most to us.